In the city, he was a ghost, a name whispered in fear but never truly seen. People referred to him only as the Commander, a twisted figure who orchestrated terror from the shadows. No one knew how he did it or how he managed to stay ahead of the authorities, but one thing was clear. He had a way of making people kill for him, and those who crossed him never lived long enough to tell the tale. It all started with the gruesome string of murders. At first, they seemed random. A grocery store clerk stabbing a customer in broad daylight, a schoolteacher suffocating her husband, a businessman bludgeoning a co-worker to death in an office parking lot. Each time, the killers were found within hours, standing silently next to their victims, eyes hollow, hands trembling. But before the police could take them in for questioning, they would collapse, convulsing violently until they lay still, their hearts stopped. A thorough investigation revealed something sinister. Each of the killers had a thin, barely noticeable scar around their necks. Upon closer inspection, authorities found small, surgically implanted shock collars, wired to kill with just the push of a button. For months, the police had no leads. The collars were advanced, custom-made with no manufacturer, no serial numbers, just a crude but highly effective method of execution. And whoever the commander was, he knew how to stay invisible. His victims became his soldiers, forced into carrying out his twisted will, and then discarded like broken tools when they were no longer useful.
I've been on this case for 6 months, obsessed with finding this invisible killer. Every new victim is a fresh reminder of my failure to stop him. I've pieced together a chilling pattern. The commander doesn't just randomly pick his targets. He selects them based on their vulnerabilities, debts, hidden crimes, addictions. He knows their darkest secrets, and with that knowledge, he controls them. But what's worse, I know he's watching. Every step we make, he anticipates. Every trap we set, he avoids. It's as if he can read our minds, staying several moves ahead in a sick game of chess. But then, one day, we got our break.
Detective Sarah Parker had been on the case for 6 months, obsessed with finding this invisible killer. Every new victim was a fresh reminder of her failure to stop him. She had pieced together a chilling pattern. The commander didn't just randomly pick his targets, he selected them based on their vulnerabilities. Debts, hidden crimes, addictions, he knew their darkest secrets, and with that knowledge he controlled them. But what was worse, Parker knew he was watching. Every step the police made, he anticipated. Every trap they set, he avoided. It was as if he could read their minds, staying several moves ahead in a sick game of chess. Then one day, they got their break. A man, visibly shaking and disheveled, stumbled into the police station late at night. His name was Peter Green. He looked over his shoulder every few seconds as if expecting someone to appear behind him at any moment. When Parker and her team sat him down, he immediately grabbed his throat, pulling at the collar, embedded just beneath his skin.
I have to stop him. He's making me kill someone tonight. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't follow through. Please, you have to help me.
Peter explained that the commander had found him when he was at his lowest, drowning in gambling debt with no way out. The man had offered him a solution. All Peter had to do was follow orders. At first, it was small things, delivering packages, picking up anonymous envelopes. Then came the assignments, ones that demanded blood.
But I refused. I couldn't kill. I ran, knowing the consequences, but it was better than being the commander's pawn any longer.
A desperation led him to the police, hoping they could save him from the fate of the others. As Peter spoke, the lights in the station flickered. The room felt tense, as if the walls themselves were listening. Parker knew they had to act quickly.
Get him to a hospital. We need to get that collar off before...
Before she could finish, Peter stiffened. His eyes widened in terror, and then he collapsed to the ground, convulsing violently. A high-pitched electrical sound filled the room as the shock collar activated, sending waves of lethal voltage through his body. The police scrambled, trying to help him, but it was too late. Peter Green was dead, another casualty of the commander's control. But the incident wasn't for nothing. They had learned something crucial. The collars could be triggered remotely, but they also had a range. Whoever activated it had to be nearby.
Search the area surrounding the station now.
Parker immediately ordered a search of the area surrounding the station. Her heart raced, knowing that the commander was close, watching, waiting to see the aftermath of his work. The search lasted hours, but then, near an abandoned warehouse just blocks away, they found it. A small hidden control room with monitors linked to cameras all over the city, tracking the police's every move. And there, sitting in a chair, was a man with an air of calm authority, his hand resting on a control panel. He was well-dressed, clean-cut, and unnervingly composed.
Jonathan West.
Parker recognized him from photos, the man they had long suspected but could never prove. His name was Jonathan West, a respected businessman, philanthropist, and apparently a mastermind of death.
I see you found me, but you won't win.
It's over. Hands where I can see them.
But West smiled.
You think you can stop me? This is only the beginning. There are more out there, more like Peter, and when you try to stop them, they'll die just like the rest.
Parker's mind raced. How many others had he implanted with the collars? How many were waiting for his command, ready to kill or be killed? Before she could respond, West pressed the button. Parker braced for an explosion, but nothing happened. West looked confused.
What?
A team of technicians burst into the room, quickly disarming the control panel.
We've neutralized the signal. No more collars can be triggered.
For the first time, West's composure broke. He lunged at the technicians, but the police restrained him. As he was dragged away, he screamed,
You can't stop this. I'll always be in control.
But as the door closed behind him, Parker felt a cold chill. They had stopped the commander for now, but the scars of his reign of terror would remain. Hundreds of people had died under his control, their lives stolen by fear and manipulation. And even though West was in custody, Parker couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere, somehow, he still had a grip on the city. Because control was never about the collar, it was about the fear he left behind. And fear, as she knew too well, was a powerful thing.